Hey, this is End of the Road Haunts, and today I'm talking about my opinions, the new Spirit Halloween 2022 releases. Now I tried to make a reaction video on all this stuff, but I had trouble getting, footage to the proper devices and, airdropping. It's just not working, so I don't think that video will be coming. But it was also just kind of a mess. But let's go over the 6 props we have demos of. And yes, I mean 6, not the 5 that are on the website right now. 6.
I knew you would be here soon. You could say I have eyes all over. Remember, wherever you run, my crows and I will find you.
So that there was Lord Raven. Now, I do really like this guy. I think he might be my favorite of the lineup. And I am quite a big fan of him. I'm a little annoyed that he likes phrases, because I'd rather him just have audio similar to the, Vulture from, 2018, just squawking and screeching. But his phrases do work, especially for being a Raven prop, even though he mentions crows, which is a little, that's a little weird. But his phrases do work for being like a bird monster. I am quite happy that they didn't make them generic Reaper phrases of, "Your soul is mine," because if they did, I would have jumped out a window. I do think his animation's really good. It kind of looks like he's pecking, and he looks very tall and looming, even though he's not. And his voice is a little weird, but it's original and kind of bird-like, if that makes sense. So, I do kind of like that. But I feel like all his problems are in his look, because the bird head is okay. It's pretty good. I don't think it needs much change. But his hands are also really cool. I like how they're kind of talons. But other than that, his robe is very bland. And they could have made it a different color, maybe. Maybe added some fake feathers. I think that might have looked awesome. Or tried to even make a feather print, I think that would have been cool. Maybe even just had a belt or chains around the waist. But no, that's that. Also, he's 6 feet tall, which I feel like for his price especially, which is a little too much in my opinion. And by a little, I mean quite a lot too much. But it's... For his price, he really should have been 7 feet tall, in my opinion. Not 8 feet, because I don't like 8-foot tall props, since I can't fit them. But I think 7 just would have been awesome to get him really looming and stuff. But, I mean, if you display him with some, Halloween bird props, like skeleton birds or just, plastic crows, I think he could look really cool. And will I get him? There's a good chance I will. So, I do find him really cool. That was the demo for the Bog Zombie. And I do think this has to be another one of my favorites of the lineup. I was really terrified it would have phrases, and thank God it didn't, because if it had phrases, again, I would have just jumped out a window. Now, I actually did like him more black and white, as we've seen in the, leaked images. I think that was a little more original. I don't know, his color scheme's a little weird to me, because for some reason I feel there are a bunch of clashes of, pink, kind of in the face a little, yellow, and, green. I don't think those work too well, but his colors are certainly fine. And he does look fairly realistic, too. His animation, everyone thought he was gonna be a servo prop, which I would have liked, and I would have wanted a servo prop, because I do want to get one of those. But he's not. But you know what? I do find his animation quite realistic. The way he kind of turns at the, swivels at the side, and how he's almost like swiping for you, I think is really cool. He definitely looks very shambling, That makes sense. And I do quite like this guy. For $249.99, I think this has to be one of the most reasonably priced animatronics out of the bunch, considering that there are some others that are ridiculously priced. But I do find this guy cool. I don't have much to say about him. His audio's good. It's just general, swamp zombie stuff. Will I get him? It's possible. It's definitely possible. So the next one here is Monty. Now, I do kind of like this guy. I love the originality. I do genuinely find him very creepy and unsettling, which a lot of people are like, no, we should get the scary props with the blood. But I think unsettling and creepy works as well, in my opinion. But it's just not... You see, I do think there are multiple problems with him. I feel like everyone expected him to be a little more grand. Like, for example, I thought he'd be like the original Jolly Chimp choice. Bang the cymbals fast, which is a problem because he does them really slowly, which is just very weird looking. Would have liked it if they sped that up and maybe like nodded his head. Even if so, I don't think that would be worth the price either. Some theories I saw were that one of his feet is off the box a little, so maybe he'd have a balancing motion. That would be pretty cool, maybe worth his price. The pixelated pumpkin suggested maybe the box would open. There'd be a jump scare. That would be pretty cool, maybe worth the $300. But there's none of those things. The box was completely useless. And I just don't get why he's so expensive. I mean, I would have liked to see him do something more, but he's just not worth it. And I do think he's really cool in the audio department and stuff, but he has, 2 animations, and he's, 300. That's abysmal. Will I get him? I was considering it a little bit, but I don't think it's worth it, especially not for the $350 you pay here in Canada. So the next one here is Lucky Bottoms, and I am quite mixed on here. I'm quite mixed on him, but firstly, he is kind of unique with the whole black and white color scheme. I honestly find him really creepy looking. His animation's really nightmarish. A lot of people don't like the cloth hands, but I actually kind of like it. I find it quite creepy, honestly. I like his face, how his jaw's kind of detached, and how it moves. But here are the problems. He's a groundbreaker, which is not needed in my opinion. I don't really like groundbreakers. I don't think... Well, I like some groundbreakers, like the Smoldering Zombie one, but it just... I don't display props outside, so it doesn't make sense to have them coming out of the concrete floor. Would have liked him a lot more if he was a standing prop. With this kind of animation, I think that would have been a lot more threatening. Maybe it's supposed to look like he's kneeling, but if so, the proportions are way off. And his arms are like 2 times longer than his legs, if so. I don't know. His clothing is also very bland. Like, very bland. I like the black and white color scheme, but if they just added some polka dots or some stripes, or just, made half of the clothing black and half of the clothing white, then, I think that would have been fine. They would have added just a little bit of detail, which could have worked. I also don't really like how there's no real connection between the head and body, so it looks very cheap and, unrealistic. But I'm not the biggest fan of this guy. I do find him kind of creepy, but for 170, nah. So that demo was for Bag of Bones, which in my opinion has to be one of the goofiest props we've got this year. Is that a good kind of goofy? No. This, like, where do I begin? The audio is just, I kind of like the rattling bone sounds. Those are kind of good and unique. But the Peekaboo Penny audio was really weird, and it's just really shrill. I don't really like that. And, the audio's not great, but the looks are where it's really goes bad. The animation, it's fine, whatever. It's a skeleton popping out of a bag, who cares? But the looks are awful. Like, I mean, it straight up just looks like a pose and stay skeleton. They maybe did a different type of skull, like a more scary one, or added a bunch of cracks, or like, yeah, I don't know, just something, or like rot. I think it could have been a lot better. The bag is just obvious spirit product placement, which I don't think is necessary. See, they had a hazmat zombie, and they had a like little thing on it, like, name tag that said like, I don't know, Spirit Industrial or something with Jack the Reaper. It's a lot less in your face if they were to do that. Just still a little, janky for them to do that. But it's just really big and obvious on Bag of Bones, which I don't like. Also, something else that really peeves me off about this is that the green lighting inside, I'm just gonna say, does not work at all. I don't think it should have had light in it at all. With it being a farm bag, like if it were a lab or industrial type thing, or power, I don't know, maybe green light would work, but I just don't get why. Like, why is it glowing? If it were orange or something, then I think that would have been pretty good, but I don't know. This is a really bad prop in my opinion.
Collecting things. Can I show you my collection? I love cooking. Mommy lets me do all the chopping. My sister used to be Mommy's favorite, but I took care of that.
Yes, that was the demo for Betty Sharp. And yes, it actually has animation. This is a big letdown. I didn't think I'd really like it originally because I'm not a big fan of possessed little girls. They're not my favorite type of prop. But it's, I don't know. I think this is very... You see, the phrases I think are pretty okay. They're not terrible, but they're fine. Her price is way too much. I think her face does look very odd. She looks very high on crack or just insane. I don't know. And the looks are... the bag's fairly bloody. She is very bloody, which is good. Face covered in the stuff. So I do like that. I like the concept. But the animation, you can't notice the bag wriggling at all. I really wish she had almost a stabbing animation with her hand, like a slow up or down, or maybe just a quick jump scare, I think would have been really awesome. But I don't know, this is not a good prop either, in my opinion. So it actually turns out more prop demos have been released, so let's cover those. Here's the first one.
Careful where you're going. I'm trying to sanitize this place first. When I'm done, nothing's gonna be left living.
So as you can see, that was Nozzles the Clown. And I must say, I am disappointed. For a few things. A, the mouth doesn't move, which for a seasonal visions prop. What are you doing? What are you doing, SVI? You always have mouth movement. So that's a little weird. I really wish his nozzin was more, constant, you know? Like, he does really short spurts, which I don't like. He's in a really weird stance, but I'm guessing that can be, you know, posed or anything, or something. His phrase isn't great. I'm glad it isn't. It's nozzin time, though. I think that would be awesome, though. Get nozzed, idiot! I think that would be an awesome phrase, in my opinion, not gonna lie. But for $350, he looks to only be 6 feet. No, that is not worth the price. Hopefully the rest of his phrases are good, but I don't know. Will I buy this? I was already not going to because of the price, and now I'm not going to at all. Maybe he'll be cooler in person. I like the fog effect, but I like his colors too and how original his look is, but it's nah. So this one here happens to be the Creepy Crawler, I think it's called, which is not in the themes. I think it's an inbox only prop. And this is decent. It looks like a very cheap spider decoration. And I do think it could have been a lot better. But, you know, I think it is fairly cool. I like spiders, you know? The animation isn't awful. The audio isn't awful. But it's just kind of there, in my opinion. So, what else can I say?
I have a secret. Come closer and I'll tell you. Closer, closer.
That there was Mr. Punchy. Nah. I was right with him being similar to Bog Zombie, actually. With the exception of the, you know, swiping hand. His face does look a little creepy, but again, I said I don't like the lights. Now I do mention this guy later in talking about the teaser. I'm actually recording this after that segment, so you know. But yeah, his phrase isn't really good. I thought he'd like lunge after he's like come closer, because it would have worked for a jump scare. But yeah, no, this doesn't do it for me, Chief. I really don't. Sorry for all the but this is very bad. And we got one more demo leaked. Here it is.
Through the dark woods and into the night. Ha! I'm coming for you to give you a fright. Da 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 da.
Honestly, I laughed out loud when I saw this. This is awful. This is the Little Skelly Bones one, and I must say, this is not the Little Skelly Bones I know and love. This is not him. This is someone different, man. The voice acting is also very weird, and his phrase is weird and kind of annoying. This is abysmal. It's lazy. Yeah, I think this might be one of my least favorite of the lineup. his animation's kind of cool. He looks similar to the, actual little Skelly bones. But I just don't get what Spirit was doing, man. This is really bad.
Excellent day for an exorcism. It would bring us together. You and us.
So that is Regan. And this is actually a pretty good prop. I haven't seen The Exorcist, so I don't know if the phrases are from the movie. But, the phrases are fine, if they're not, but I'm pretty sure they are, because why wouldn't they? I mean, the animation's fine, the whole, turning of the head. I actually quite like the projector. I think that's really cool. It's way overpriced, $280 for this thing, but, it's a pretty good prop. I refuse to talk about this thing. There's nothing worth saying about it. Now, the next one we have here is the Straw Man. Now, I'm a little annoyed now that everything's being released, because now 90% of me talking about that teaser they released has to be edited out, but whatever. The Tombstone Terror is not very good. It's very cheap looking, obviously. The tombstone's fine, but the skull is literally just a Dollarama skull. Like, literally just a Dollarama skull. Like, at least, the Bag of Bones was like a Spirit Pose and Stay Skeleton one. That's a little more high quality, but this is literally just Dollarama. So, this is really bad. There are so many bad props this year. I do think in terms of lineups, this might be one of the worst ones yet. So, yeah, Tombstone Terror, not good.
Monsters have been carving up my friends for years. Now it's my turn to make a jack-o'-lantern. From your head!
So there we had the possessed pumpkin. And, its clothing isn't good. Its animation's fine. I thought it would have a moving mouth, though, which is disappointing that it doesn't, in my opinion. I like the red light-up eyes a little bit, but, the phrases... The phrases are cringe, boy. The phrases are really cringe. The voice also sucks. So, yeah, this is not a very good prop, in my opinion. I would have liked it if it was just growling, or, better phrases, but nah, they're not good.
Did you know that this land is cursed? The original farmer buried his victims in this very field. They say it helped to keep his soil nice and fertilized. Would you care to see where the remains lie?
So here we have the Straw Man. Finally, a pretty good one from this, this batch we got today. It's pretty good in my opinion. I mean, I think its animation's really good. It almost looks to have a servo movement, which I think is good. Looks to be pretty tall too. Hopefully not too overpriced. But I do think he is pretty cool. Will I get him? Maybe. I could see myself getting him, yeah. So now where I'm gonna start really complaining. So this teaser they dropped was fully pointless in my opinion. It's better than the little snippets we got before. Now, if they were to release this in early to mid-July, I think that would have been fine, but it just does not show off the props very well. Some of them are like at the end of a dark hallway or something and cannot be seen at all. You don't get a feel for what they do, and it's just the acting is abysmal, obviously. You know, obviously they couldn't get top tier actors, but it's really bad. I wish they'd just done sneak peeks. The one way I think they could have fixed this teaser or this trailer is by doing what they did in 2017, where it's still a short film type thing. It still has actors and stuff, but when you see little snippets of the props, it cuts away to the actual demos. I think that would have been really good. Or maybe not really good, I think it still would have been very janky and weird. But I think it would have been better to actually show off the props properly. And also, can we just acknowledge that the timer didn't work? Like, Spirit had 20... No, not 20 days, but like 15 days or so to make sure that they got the proper web page up at the proper time, but they didn't. They had so much time to get it right. And hell, they even did a timer last year, and it malfunctioned and showed everything beforehand. The timer was like a dud. I don't get why they did that. We had to resort to, searching up the names of the props in the search bar, which was a lot more anticlimactic. And yeah, I'm not going to be analyzing everything in this teaser because you don't see jack crap. Now, there are some things I want to talk about. We also see Lord Raven pretty quickly, which I'm not gonna say this because he looks cool, but I think the way they added him looked really, really goofy. Just like, oh hey, there's Betty Sharp. Oh no, the Raven's looming over the fallen over person and isn't doing anything. So that was just really weird. We also get to see this new animatronic that hasn't been leaked, which is this lady snapping her neck. Props like this that have to deal with possessions and stuff, I don't really like. I never see myself buying. But honestly, this one, I'll be honest, is cool as hell. It looks pretty good. It's genuinely creepy. The way the neck bends. I just, finished watching Stranger Things Season 4. So I do think it would have been cool if maybe, like, her arms bent or something, get full Vecna, but they didn't have to do that. But I don't know, I think this is pretty cool, and if the price isn't too bad, I could see it being priced around $200, then maybe I would get it. So I do think that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all the teaser, and the animatronics. I don't think Spirit's looking too good. Luckily, the animatronics that were officially released actually seem to be the good ones of the lineup. But, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you're new. And I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.